live right now. So we're just going to watch these scenes unfold here. I'm going to give you a little more update on what exactly transpired. So approximately at a little after 2 in the afternoon Central Time, a 67-year-old male victim was on the street. He was approached by 4 unknown offenders. They attempted to take his vehicle. An unknown offender then brandished a handgun and fired shots, striking the victim in the abdomen. Apparently, the victim was able to produce a firearm of his own and fire towards the offenders, and a weapon was recovered on the scene. But the victim was transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. There are no suspects yet in custody, but area detectives are investigating this. We don't have the name, but we know the victim was a retired Chicago firefighter who was killed while presumably attempted carjackers tried to take his car. And so now you're seeing right in these pictures before you, in what has been about a 10 to 15 minute procession on this interstate of emergency vehicles in this caravan, essentially, with the victim inside. Quite solemn, quite tragic, moving nonetheless. This happened on the far south side of Chicago. We actually do have the victim's name. He was identified as Dwain Williams of Longwood Manor in Cook County. This is according to the Cook County Medical Examiner. Authorities did provide an update tonight, and we heard from the Chicago Police Chief of Operations, Brian McDermott, who said his heart goes out to the family of the victim and to the victim himself. He went on to say that the Chicago Police Department is well aware of the increase in vehicle hijackings, and we're doing our best right now to increase the capabilities of our citywide task force. Apparently, the data is pretty stark. Chicago police apparently have responded to 1,229 carjackings this year. It's more than double from last year. That's according to data obtained by the paper of record in Chicago, the Chicago Sun-Times. As far as the suspects are concerned, they were last seen fleeing in the stolen sedan, and it wasn't immediately clear if any of them had also been shot. Remember, I just said that the victim, Dwain Williams, also had a firearm and exchanged gunfire with his would-be carjackers. So we know a little bit about the victim. We know he was a retired firefighter with the Chicago Fire Department. But our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his friends tonight on this very tragic night. So it seems we do have the press conference from Chicago Police. It's about 10 minutes long from earlier. So we're going to play that out for you. And we're going to put also this procession on the screen as it's happening as well for you to take a look at. So bear with us here. Let's get this ready, and we're going to play that.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Brian McDermott, Chief of Operations for the Chicago Police Department. At this time, I'd like to offer my sincere condolences to the family of the victim, who is a retired 67-year-old retired Chicago firefighter. On today's date, at approximately 2 p.m., our victim was leaving the popcorn store at 117th, right here, 11758 Southwestern. He was walking to his vehicle. He was approached by a four-door dark-colored sedan where multiple male black subjects exited the vehicle. There was an exchange of gunfire. Our victim sustained one gunshot wound to the stomach. He was transported to Christ Hospital, where he was pronounced at 2:45 p.m. The offenders fled westbound on 118th Street in their vehicle. Currently, Area 2 detectives are on the scene canvassing for witnesses, attempting to locate any private video. And at this time, we're asking that anybody with information that could help solve this crime to reach out to cpdtip.com.
Can you be a little bit more descriptive with the vehicle at this point? Are we talking a sedan, an SUV, any make or model?
A four-door dark-colored sedan.
Is he 67 years old or is he 65? Because we're getting two different ages here.
The information I'm getting is 67.
Were the offenders perhaps hit by gunfire?
Unknown at this time if the offenders were struck.
It looks like there's cameras here on the side of the building here. Are you guys examining those, or will the video footage be released to the public?
Yes, there is private video that I'm not sure if it's going to be released, but there is private video that is being recovered by area detectives.
You said he headed west on 118th. There are homes that way. Do you have indication that these individuals went into a home, or did they go over the tracks heading towards the Blue Island area?
We don't have any indication where they went. We don't believe they went into a home, though.
Do you know how many shots were fired in all?
It's unknown at this time how many shots were fired. There was an exchange of gunfire. That's all we can tell you at this time.
Sir, let's talk about it. You've already addressed that you had 120% spiking attempted in carjackings this year in 2020. This time you're dealing with a deadly one that involves someone who served and protected this city for many years. What's going through your heart and mind? And Alderman O'Shea, I don't know if you want to chime in on that as well.
Well, again, like I said, my heart goes out to the family of the victim and to the victim himself. The Chicago Police Department is well aware of the increase in vehicle hijackings. We're doing our best right now to increase the capabilities of our citywide task force. We are aware where the crimes are occurring, and we're going to deploy resources to the appropriate areas.
Do you believe that the people in this one, even though you don't know it yet, have these, and you have an NOMO where these four people could potentially be involved in similar carjackings on the south side, and that you are aware of? Are you connecting the dots, or is it too soon?
The detectives will connect the... connect the dots. That's the word I was looking for.
Just yesterday, there was an individual, a 50-year-old woman that was robbed in her garage right down the street in Beverly. Alderman O'Shea, you might be aware, 94th and or 94th, right off Western Avenue. 97th and Winchester. Yes, you go, 97th and Winchester. Thank you. In this particular time, people in this community are concerned. What do you tell them? You know, you have people coming home from work getting robbed at gunpoint in their garages. You have deadly attempted carjackings right on a busy thoroughfare. What is the message that you send to these people in this Beverly and Morgan Park community?
The message is that we hear their concerns loud and clear, and that we understand the fears that they're going through. You know, we all have people that we know that live in this community that shouldn't have to live in fear, and that the men and women of this department are working their hardest to stop the violence that's going on right now and try to make this community and the city safe for everybody.
In addition to the said crimes that he just said, there was also a mass shooting that occurred here back in August. In terms of security here in the area, what are you guys doing to ensure the residents, as you guys look for these suspects, that they are going to remain safe out here?
I'm working closely with the superintendent, with Alderman O'Shea, and with Commander Joyce from the 22nd District to ensure that they have the appropriate resources here to make sure that everyone feels safe.
There are so many people out here.
Any other questions about this incident here?
People are afraid to
Can you repeat the question?
Any words of encouragement to the residents who may be afraid to step out of their homes? It seems like the crime is past so many people out here afraid.
Just know that there's hundreds of officers out here that place their lives on the line every single day, that are out here trying to protect the citizens of the city. You know, we have been shot at over 70 times, shot at over 70 times this year, and we're out here continuing to do our job despite the risks that we're under, and we'll continue to do our best to protect the citizens of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
The name of the firefighter that died, have you released
The fire department will release that name a little bit. Alderman O'Shea has a personal relationship with the victim, and he'll share that with you now.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
At this time, the Chicago Fire Department has not released the name of the individual. I can tell you he was a hero. 25-year decorated member of the Chicago Fire Department who spent his entire career working hard as a first responder for our great city. What a tremendous loss in his retirement, to be stopping to support a local business, to be gunned down in another senseless act of violence. The men and women of the Chicago Police Department put their lives on the line each and every day. They are outmanned and they are outgunned. Today is just another example of what we have seen in this city. And the people of my community are scared. But we do have a commitment for additional resources to be brought here to assist the police department. Questions?
What is the solution to this, sir? I know that there's a problem. You said outmanned, outgunned, the crime is high. But what do you think needs to be done to fix this?
Well, a lot needs to be done. Gun offenders need to be put away. Chicago Police Department needs additional resources. I'm hopeful that as the Police Department Area 2 detectives work this case, we might be able to find footage from other security cameras in the area. That possibly someone comes forward that knows something about this terrible tragedy today and reports that, and you can be anonymous at cpdtip.com. But more needs to be done to support law enforcement, to make communities like mine safer.
Can you tell us how
know the
you...
firefighter by any chance?
I did not know him.
That's my question.
I'm sorry, I spoke to one of the residents who saw the aftermath, the victim on the ground, and she said most of the mischief that's coming into the neighborhood now, she said these are folks that don't live in this area. She said that it's coming here from other parts of the city. What is your response to that? Are you seeing a lot of the crime here are from, suspects or people that don't live specifically here in Morgan Park?
Yes, the majority of the reported crime is not from residents of the community, but they come to our community to perpetrate those crimes. Yes, I would agree with that.
And then last but not least, what would you say specifically to these offenders who are now on the run?
I would hope that they would come forward, but I don't think, being cowards and doing what they did here today, they're not going to do that. But I would hope someone out there that knows them, someone out there knows something about this crime, and they come forward with that information, and they can be anonymous.
I think that for some people that's easier said than done. Some people are afraid to come forward.
Absolutely.
With that out there, why is it important for them to come forward? Talk to them directly. What do you see?
Please, do you want to take your neighborhoods back? Do you want your children to be able to play out in front of your home? Do you want to come to a local store? Come forward with any information you have. But I know that's hard. But we have to do it. We have to rally as a city.
Are you afraid?
No.
Why?
I refuse to live in fear. I was born and raised in this community. I know what this community is. We're a community that stands together in crisis. We will stand together to honor this hero who lost his life tonight here, tragically.
Do you have any information on married, father, grandfather, any information on YouTube about the...
I know that he served the Chicago Fire Department. In his last several years, he was detailed to OEMC, where he received many honors for his important work. I know that he was active in his church. I know that he was a musician. I know that everybody I've talked to today who worked with him was heartbroken.
Do you know, we understand he was a regular here at the popcorn shop. Do you know what brought him in today? Was he buying holiday gifts? Was he picking up something for his own family? Do you know what he was out doing?
Have you ever had their product? You would need a reason to come here. Let's Get Poppin'. It's a terrific store. I don't know why he was here today, other than he was, in fact, a regular. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.
So those were Chicago police officials updating the public and the press about exactly what happened on the south side of Chicago this afternoon that led to the tragic shooting death of that retired Chicago firefighter. His name, Dwain Williams, 65-year-old man. We're just going to watch this for a little bit longer. This memorial procession. On the interstate there, the highways right around Chicago. It's been going for about 20-25 minutes at the moment. Slowly staying to one lane. The officials there in that press conference said they did not know Dwain Williams, but know many people in the fire department and the police department, obviously, and saying it could have been one of them. According to data compiled by the Chicago Sun-Times, the newspaper there, that carjackings are up this year in 2020 in Chicago, doubled from last year, more than doubled, to be honest. And there you can see cars waiting to get onto the highway to merge, waiting for the procession to go by, out of respect, no doubt. It looks like the procession is getting off the off-ramp. Not entirely sure, I can't tell you where this procession and this caravan is headed, either from the hospital to the medical examiner's office or vice versa. I'm not sure, but we do know the decedent is in that ambulance. In a lot of these processions as well, they could be traveling to a funeral home. No word on if any of the victims' family is traveling. I believe they've been notified. So we are going to get off this for now, but we'll update you on if any more news on possible suspects involved in this case, but so far nothing on that front just yet. I want to thank everyone for watching News Now from Fox here. It's a little after 7:45, a little after 9:45 on the East Coast. And this is News Now from Fox. And like you just saw, we take things live and raw and unfiltered. You saw from our chopper there in Chicago, from our sister station, going in and out a little bit. So we're glad we could bring you that story. We're going to go back to Rhode Island and listen to the governor, Governor Gina Raimondo, give an update on the coronavirus in her state, and then she'll take questions from reporters. So we're not quite done with that event just yet, but we wanted to show you a little bit of those live pictures out of Chicago, and let's just revisit them right again. This is a more zoomed in close-up shot of the ambulance itself. They've gotten off the interstate at the moment, and they're being joined by even more police cars flanking it in both directions. So this could be the end of their journey. And there you see a lot of Chicago blue out there in front of their cars, standing at attention as the ambulance and the caravan pull in to a side street here. And there's a fire truck. And you're seeing more fire trucks. There's Chicago fire members, fire department members. I can't tell if they're saluting the ambulance, but they're standing there paying their respects, no doubt. Quite a scene. Didn't know that was just going to happen. And it does look like the ambulance is pulling in to some sort of parking lot. I'm not entirely sure. Presumably the funeral parlor or the medical examiner's office or the hospital. We no longer have visuals of the ambulance itself. Hopefully the chopper goes back over and sees the police and firefighters standing at attention, paying their respects. I believe it's about 8:45 Central Time there in Chicago on this Thursday night. Well, we're glad we caught that moment there. That was quite emotional. And we'll be bringing you any more updates on this story as we get them out of Chicago, where, just to recap right now, we're getting conflicting reports about the victim's age, 65 or 67, but Dwain Williams was his name. He was fatally shot during an exchange of gunfire with would-be carjackers this afternoon in the south side of Chicago. He was pronounced dead. He was approached by 4 males. They walked up to his vehicle and started shooting. We know Williams exchanged gunfire, but he was later transported to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. And just a final look here at the scene. We're going to stay on this because there's just a line of people paying their respects, lining up. Even though it is dark, you can see them, the firefighters, the police officers. Let's listen in to see if we can hear any natural sound from the scene. And officials there are going to be opening up the back of the ambulance. It is a little hard to see because it is nighttime. And the doors of the ambulance are opening. Scores of firefighters flanking it. There you see the stretcher. Carrying Dwain Williams' body. Incredibly moving scene here. And the salutes go up to their departed brother and comrade in the fire department of the Windy City. Possibly a chaplain there saying a few words. Their hats have been removed, maybe offering some type of prayer or solemnity for the deceased victim. Many of the firefighters there and police officers making the sign of the cross. bowing their heads in prayer. Presumably because he's been identified, I'm assuming next of kin have been also notified. And I believe this is either the medical examiner's office or the morgue. And the final salute there before the stretcher is wheeled into those doors. And there goes the body of 65-year-old Dwain Williams, who was shot and killed this afternoon on the far south side of Chicago. After 4 men carjacked him.